you think about athletes, the ones that communicate well are the ones that get the endorsement deals, they get the commercials, they get to be broadcasters when their playing careers are over. It's about communicating. So it requires us making the commitment to ourselves that we just want to be better and not settle for the status quo. And sometimes it isn't all that complicated. It's just a matter of doing the simple things over and over.
Today on Biz Glitch number 132 out of 366 leap year mistakes we have made or we've seen other people make. It's May 11th, 2024. I want to make a point about today's video. The point is that you need to know what the point is.
You have to understand the point behind what you're saying, because if you don't understand the point, you don't really know when the point has been made, and no one else will understand either.
Not too long ago, Linda did a video interview with a lovely young man named Tim Brown, who has a very unique perspective on making presentations to folks, whether it's in your prospect circle or, well, let me shut up so that Linda can get right to the point.
Yeah, this is going to be another glitch where I insert excerpts from the podcast interview that I had with Tim so you can hear in his own words about communication and your communication style. With all the practice and all the exposure that you get, do you still get nervous with any, like even the Twitter spaces or with church?
There are times, and even now to this day, I may be in a space, and if it's unfamiliar people, a new space that I go to, I was interested in the topic, I feel my heart begin to race a little bit, the butterflies kick in, and I think it's just normal and natural for any of us when we're in an unfamiliar environment and we don't know what to expect. We don't know how they'll receive us. We don't know if they'll appreciate what we say. So I believe it's inevitable that we feel some type of nervousness. And I've learned to embrace that. When I do have the nervousness or the butterflies, I take that as an indication of humility. It reminds me to remain humble, but it also, I see it as an indication of me taking the moment serious and respecting that moment. Because if I'm expecting people to listen to me, I respect their time enough that I want to try to give them the best that I have to offer.
We just did a glitch about this, scrutinizing how you're communicating, and do you need to tweak a little bit so that people understand? Do you have to slow down a little bit? Do you have to simplify a little bit? Do you have to expand on the point a little bit? That's why this interview was so fun to do, because I think it's taken for granted how, I have my style. I talk the way I talk, or I write the way that I write, but it doesn't always mean it's working the most efficient way.
Tim brings this perspective that you want to kind of step back and look at, I got my style, okay, but let's analyze it both from defining what that is and maximizing its efficiency, which falls on right after yesterday's glitch, which is about maximizing the use of your CRM. So today, let's maximize use of you. Okay.
What I would say happens for some people, not all. People aren't intentional to understand the impact that they have on situations, the way they present themselves, the way they speak and articulate themselves. So it's easy to get comfortable with who you are as an individual. We feel like what we do works. So it's easy to just do what we do, not realizing that there could be potentially other opportunities available to us if we continuously refine what we do, whether it's the business, our communication, our ability to interact with people. I think we just have to be intentional, and a lot of people don't do that. It isn't even just about what we say when we think about the distinction between confident speaking and public speaking. You don't have to actually say anything sometimes to express and demonstrate confidence. The way we present ourselves, our physical appearance can display our confidence.
How do they know to even think that maybe they should practice more?
It's difficult to give a specific answer because everyone has to have that mindset that they want to figure out how can they just be a better version of themselves in every aspect. And communicating is one of those things that is at the forefront and the center of everything that we do.
His specialty is confident speaking and presenting confidently when you have to do a presentation. So you're right about that this is more of a presentation skill for when you're speaking. But really what I wanted to do and why I wanted to interview him is to kind of drill down into the communication piece, because if you're not confident to even communicate, forget about public speaking. as a skill. Like that's just a different level.
There's a lot of talk about emotional intelligence these days, in recent years. And it's something that is in line with confident speaking and effective communication. And it allows us to understand how we impact the people around us and how we allow those people around us to impact us as well.
Trevor and I, and working with business owners for the last several years, we have found that people are more reactive than proactive. What advice might you have for people to just have it as a exercise to practice?
Develop the mindset and commit to yourself to be better. I remember reading an article where Warren Buffett, he was speaking at doing a commencement address, and he made a statement that you could increase your net worth or your earning potential by 50%, I believe it was, just by learning to communicate well. So I just do little things that constantly keep my mind thinking about how I communicate. And that's what people have to do is be intentional and figure out what can they do better. And that's why I love the space confident speaking, because it affects every aspect of our lives, no matter what your career is.